Hey, all my movie maniacs out there. Normally, I try to do a review without spoilers, but here, I'm giving you a warning now. I will be giving some spoilers about today's review film, Flatliners, because I just want to put it out there of exactly why I feel the way I do about this movie. So warning now, I am going to be doing spoilers of Flatliners. Now here we get the story once again of a group of medical students who want to explore if there is an afterlife, and while they succeed in their journey the first time of dying and coming back, they didn't come back alone, and we see how they are haunted by some things that followed them back from the afterlife and how they deal with them before it ends up killing them. Okay, so I really enjoyed the first one, and when I heard they were going to do a remake, I kind of rolled my eyes going, really? Does it need to be a remake? But okay, I decided to go into it thinking, let's look at this. And even as a horror film by itself, I think this film is lacking. Now, the performers do well in here. Ellen Page is Courtney. I enjoyed her character, who ends up kind of being the leader of the group and taking over for the role that Kiefer Sutherland and Kevin Bacon kind of had in here. You know, Diego Luna's in here, Nina Dobrev in here, James Norton, Kiersey Clemens. I think they do well with the script they're given. It was just this script. It was like a Cliff's Notes of the original. I mean, in the beginning, they changed the setting, okay? So where they're doing the revivals is in the basement with medical equipment around them. And part of the shtick with the first one was they were doing it remotely with equipment that might be a little shoddy, and so there was a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a risk, it felt like, rather than being in a fully functional hospital. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're trying to do that because, you know, they're trying to bring it a little bit more grounded in reality in some way. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and so then they play with this angle of the afterlife and how, you know, they're trying to take the same approach where there's sins, like in the first one, where the sins of them are coming back and haunting them. But I just didn't like the way they approached it. It felt too fast foodish. It didn't have a lot as much weight, I felt, as those original sins that had in the original film. It just didn't feel as heavy. Plus, they added kind of this romance element and a sex element in there, which I didn't think was needed at all. Between at least two of the pairings in here of our group of five, they have sex in here, and I'm like, why did you need to work that angle in here? And then the big one, though, for me, where I realized the screenwriters may have lost the concept of the first one, they tried to play off as and they dropped the line in here, but they don't really explore it too much, is, maybe these are our sins coming back and we're paying for them. Or maybe there's a demonic element that's playing off of our sins and feeding off of them. Really? I mean, never mind the fact that they put more supernatural stuff in here, so it is more supernatural horror film than a exploration into the afterlife and that the first one have, and they tried to make it more of a supernatural horror film. Now you're playing off the fact that these sin things might not actually be for the people, but just because of a demon feeding off of them? Really? Do we have to go there? Give your audience more credit. Come on. And you think throwing Kiefer Sutherland in here as a cameo is going to appease the fans? No, they're going to look at this going, this is an empty shell of the original. They didn't bring much new to the story at all. There's a couple brief moments in here, but like I said, even the sins of these people, the way it was directed and visually presented, I think you were missing the weight of their sins. You didn't feel like these characters actually felt that. And the CGI in here, there's a lot of CGI in here, which surprised me in a couple of scenes. Looked really spotty, and maybe they're going for a dreamlike look or whatnot, I don't know, but it was really rough. I'm like, why'd you have to do that at all? Go for real sets, you know? I don't know. I just think a film, the original film, which was made for less money, had more weight to it and more gravitas to what was going on than in this film, which felt like it was trying to breeze through things, give an alternate explanation, because we can't actually be sitting here exploring actual, sins being brought back and haunting us from the afterlife. No, it's got to be some demonic thing. Give your audience more credit. I don't know. For me, Flatliners fell really flat, folks. I know, bad pun, but it's true. I just could not get behind this film. It was clunky in the way story was told. You never are with the characters long enough to really feel anything. And by the end of the film, you're just like, They only do one thing improper here, is one of the characters dies about halfway through the film, which did surprise me for a modern horror film like that. But even not as a remake, just as a modern horror film, I think this film is weak. So, if you're interested at all, wait for rental. Okay, and it's not just me looking at it through rose-colored nostalgia. This is a film that feels like it was just a cash-in, cash grab, and I feel bad for the performers who were in this film because they do a great job with what they were given. Unfortunately, what they were given should have stayed dead. And that'll about do it for us here in the final cut. Please leave your thoughts on Flatliners down below. Love to hear your constructive thoughts on this film. Subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, until next time, keep that ticket stub.